Hello there. I'm sure you've heard of the term beginner's luck. And there's something to that. It's not just about luck, it's the fact that there is a certain naivety when it comes to the inexperienced. And sometimes this naivety can work to your advantage because if you don't know what you don't know, and an opportunity comes along, you might just jump right into it without thinking about all of these things that somebody who has more experience would think. And the reason why this can work to your advantage is because if you don't know any better, you might not realize how difficult something really is to do. But because of that, there is no expectation. And the idea of the difficulty can actually contribute to the difficulty, if that makes sense. Let me try to explain myself. If you know that doing something is going to require a certain level of skill, or if you've tried it before and it didn't work, or you have all these expectations about, you know, oh, this is going to be too hard. I don't even want to try in the first place. Or you're jaded, um, so that you think, well, I just I just don't even want to try because it's a futile endeavor. But the inexperienced person is not jaded. They have no expectations going into it. They If they don't realize how difficult it is, they're more likely to jump into something before, they might just say yes to something before they realize what they're getting themselves into. And, there's all of these other variables. And the point is, somebody just starting out might think to themselves something like, oh, I'll just go become a coach and then I can charge $5,000 a month for my coaching, right? Whereas somebody who is probably overly experienced might say to themselves, oh, it's so hard to break into this type of industry, and I can't just start charging $5,000 right out the gate. I have to start charging $1,000 and then work my way up to the $5,000 after I get a track record, after I have case studies and proof and testimonials. And you start overcomplicating these things with your own thoughts. But the person fresh out the gate just goes, oh, I'm just going to go become a coach and start charging $5,000 a month. Because they don't know that you're supposed to go through all these other hurdles before you can get to that level. And somebody just recently gave such a brilliant analogy of leveling up. And he said that he was um, driving around and around in circles inside of this parking structure, and all of the spots were full. And then it just dawned on him, well, why don't I just go to the next level up? And sure enough, we went up to the next level and there was a parking spot right away. So if where you're at is too full, just level up. In other words, instead of trying to maintain your mediocrity, just give yourself permission to go to the next level. Up level your clients, up level where you're looking for your clients, up level your services. Go from being standard to being extraordinary and creating VIP experiences and all this. That's a little bit of a digression, um, but if we don't realize what the standard measures are and what the standard procedures are, then we might just go bumbling along in our unknowingness and find ourselves in extraordinary opportunities. And we're not going to reject those opportunities because we feel like we're not qualified or, we're not experienced enough or anything like that because we don't know any better. We don't know what the norm is, right? So we're just going, oh, well, this opportunity fell into my lap, so I'm going to jump on it. Why not? Let me see if I can give you a different example. So a friend of mine who has never done anything like this before, who doesn't know, um, all of the industry standards. She doesn't know, what it normally takes to get to a certain level or be able to connect with certain people. Um, she just had this vision of doing a summit. And the people that she was reaching out to and the doors of opportunity that were opening up for her and the people that she was being referred to were huge in their industry. And she didn't know any better. She's never hosted this type of event before. But as she was reaching out to these people, she was emboldened to do so. She was interacting with these people like it was nothing. She didn't, she wasn't starstruck. She wasn't intimidated by their stature in their industry or their success. She was just saying, hey, why don't you be a speaker at my summit? And these people that I found to be incredible. Um, I was shocked at the people that she was getting to say yes to her vision because she didn't know any better. She had a vision of what she wanted and she started asking around. Now, I've held many summits and because I know who people are, there are certain people that I might find a little bit too intimidating to approach to ask them to speak at my event in the first place. But that filter's not there if you don't have any experience and you're a beginner, you don't know any better. That filter of, oh, I shouldn't reach out to them because they're so much more successful than I am, and I'm just a nobody. So who am I to ask this person to join my event? But she didn't have that filter. She was just she didn't know how awesome it was that these people were saying yes to her. This is how naive she was. I'm not saying the word naive in a bad way either here. This is like magic. Magic was happening here because she was just reaching out to these people and they were saying yes. And that wouldn't have happened if she was sitting there overthinking things, um, putting her own level of difficulty on things, being worried, having anxiety, um, you know, being fearful that it might not work out because it didn't work out in the past. All of those conditions were not in place. So that's why I say beginner's luck is a real thing. Because somebody right out the gate is going to go and try to do something that you may have tried yourself, and they're probably going to be successful at it, and you're going to go, how the heck did you do that? You don't even know what you're doing. But they're open to the possibility. They didn't realize that maybe I should, think about this before I act. They just acted. They had no frame of reference. So they just did, and they cultivated these amazing results. So don't be afraid to try new things. And don't feel like you need to learn everything about everything before you jump into something for the first time. Because if you overeducate yourself, you might actually talk yourself out of it. You might actually stop moving forward. You might stop progressing. You might fall into analysis paralysis. This has happened to me before. I was thinking to myself, oh, I want to create a lead magnet. So I'm instead of just going and creating one, I went to like, 10 different workshops all about lead magnets, and they all said something different about it. And so then I had this conflicting information in my head, and I kept flip-flopping back and forth and going, do I want to do it this way or do I want to do it this way? But if somebody just comes along and somebody says, "Oh, you need a lead magnet," and they're like, "Okay, let's just create a lead magnet." And then they just do it without overthinking it. So don't fall into the trap of overthinking. Uh, walk into things with a beginner mindset. Because another thing that happens is because you know something about something, you become closed-minded to other ideas about it because you already have an idea. You already have a concept of what that's supposed to look like. And when you are closed-minded, you're unable to learn new things. So that's why, even though I've been in marketing for 23 years now, I always look at it from the perspective of a beginner. I always look at it from the perspective of I don't know what I'm doing. I look at it from level one. Uh, so that helps me keep my mind open to learning new things about marketing that maybe I didn't know before. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I already know this. Because as soon as you say, I already know this, you're closing yourself off to learning something new. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. Have a great day.